Let's take a look at the build you saw in the ISA. Using a Odyssey Tactical Star Cruiser T6. Using a phaser beam build. I'm using a sensor-linked phaser beam array, a prolonged engagement phaser beam array, a regular phaser beam array pen, agony phaser energy torpedo, and the colony deflector from the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter deflector with the critical severity and crit chance from the colony. Then the prevailing fortified impulse engines with the engineering, speed boost and turn rate boost for better control from the competitive reputation. The prevailing fortified warp core also from the competitive reputation. And the prevailing innervated resilient shield array also from the competitive reputation with the crit chance and severity. Then these give the 2-piece set, hull capacity, control expertise and weapon specialization, and the 3-piece for extra bonus energy damage resistance rating. Then for the aft weapons I use the sensor-linked omnidirectional phaser beam array, the trilithium enhanced omnidirectional phaser beam array, the kinetic cutting beam, and the phaser beam array. Then for devices I use the battery energy amplifier, the web matter capacitor, and the subspace field modulator. For consoles I use the reinforced armaments console, which gives the 2-piece together with the trilithium enhanced omnidirectional beam array for 5% firing cycle haste and 15 flight speed. Then I use the binaural infusion circuit from the Lobi store for the critical severity. The disruption pulse emitter from a lockbox or from the exchange for the clicky, and the 2-piece together with the dynamic power redistribution module, which has a very good clicky and a very good 2-piece. You can also get the bombardment console from the NX Escort, which is also part of the 2-piece set, and you could replace the disruption pulse emitter with that. Then I go to the tachyonetic converter, which I use for the critical chance and severity. The turn rate's also nice. It's from the Lobi store. Then the quantum phase converter for the phaser damage from the Sunrise mission. Then the console universal domino from the Bajoran interceptor for the phaser damage and the domino clicky. And then I use 4 tactical vulnerability locator phaser. For skills, it's my relatively standard skill tree. For more detail I have a specific video about my skill tree. And for specialization I use Miracle Worker and Strategist. And for traits I used Context is for Kings, Anchored, Superior Beam Training, Beam Barrage, A Good Day to Die, Operative, Self-Modulating Fire, Fleet Coordinator, and Inspirational Leader. Then for the Starship traits I use the Emergency Weapon Cycles, which I use on any build, Honor Death for the survivability, Supercharged Weapons for the crit chance, severity, and the damage. It's also the trait from the ship itself. Then Cold Hearted to proc with the Aux the Bat, and Promise of Ferocity. Then for the space reputation I use Magnified Firepower from the Gamma reputation for the bonus weapon damage, Controlled Countermeasure with procs with the Cold Hearted trait, and Precision for the crit chance, Advanced Targeting System for the crit severity, Energy Refocuser for the passive hull healing when dealing damage. You can also use Enhanced Armor Penetration or something in that line. Then for the active reputation use all the space ones pretty much. Then for stations I use 3 SRO Superior Romulan Operative Tech Officers from the Fleet Embassy, which have this trait that stacks. And then I use the Vanguard Engineer and the Pirate Efficient Psi Potato Head from the Alliance's mission For the actual abilities, I use Tactical Team 1, Ready Point Marker 1, Torpedo Spread 3, Distributor Targeting 1, Chemosite Laced Weaponry 1, Attack Banner and Beta 1, Fire at Will 3, Engineering Team 1, Ox the Bat 1, Emergency Power to Weapons 3, Ox the Bat 3, Science Team 1, and Hazard Emitters 2. And lastly, the Active Duty Officers, chance for stacking crit severity buff on firing energy weapons, the Space Warfare Specialist, space increased damage versus Borg, and the Attack Pattern Beta restores hull when firing, and 3 technicians for the Ox the Bat build. I hope that was useful. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.